less than 6 hours. Straight through. Florida. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like,
Do not see their receipts. Please go to the back and get your badge for voting. And as you do that, we will go ahead and get started. I'm really happy to see everyone here tonight. So the first meeting after the big RNC, which was very exciting for Greenville, for our party, because we had such good representation for our group. So we're very pleased to be here. I'd first like to thank Mauldin Baptist Church for having us again. It's a lovely location, very convenient for a lot of folks, so we really enjoy your appreciate the support, particularly of your AD team. So thank you very much, Mauldin Baptist Church. And with that, I will call us to order, and we'll start by having an opening prayer from Ms. Deanne Barton, and she's with Greenville. What do you say? Deanne, there she comes.
checking out. See you later.
Father God, we thank you for this time to gather together, and we thank you, Father, for saving President Trump's life.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
We saw your miracle, we saw your hand, and we thank you for that, Father. We thank you for Yvonne and Jeff and for every person in this room that cares enough to come together and to do what we need to do as you would direct us. Father, I just ask that you fill our hearts with praise for you, and that we remember that you have asked us to choose life and to not choose death, Father. That you have given us your word to choose life, and that is what we want to do here. But Father, help us to know that you have charged us to be unified. Your word says in Psalm 133, Hine Tov Uman Shed Achim Gam, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to come together in unity. Amen. Father, may we do everything tonight in unity to achieve your goal and to do your will.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate that. Mr. Tim McCauley, who is Greenville ECA Approval 1.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Brad Powell, the Republican.
I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon. If I can see opportunity, not security, I want to take a calculated risk to dream and build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to borrow incentive for gold. I prefer the challenges of life to guaranteed security, the thrill of fulfillment to the scale of long utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefit of my creations, to face the whole world boldly and say, I am
a free American.
So at this point, I'd like to welcome, of course, we have an elected official speaker this evening. We're inviting you, but if there are any other elected officials, incumbents, newly elected, or candidates, if you would please stand and say your name. Okay. All right, and we also welcome our dear veterans. If you're a veteran, if you could please stand. The veterans in the room. tell you about our meeting calendar, weekly coffee politics, but we have a special upcoming event that we're going to have this spring. So let's introduce her. She's from Anderson, so she's going to tell you about an exciting event that they have. So you come up for a second.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Let me be here tonight. Second, I brought a whole stack of beautiful colored brochures and handouts here, and Linda was nice enough to pass one out to everybody. See, is there anybody here that doesn't know who Lieutenant Colonel Alan West is? Everybody familiar with that? He's a combat veteran. He's head of the Texas GOP. He's a former Florida congressman. Just Florida. In fact, he just went back to Normandy for the 80th anniversary and jumped in. And so he is coming blessing us and speaking to us in Anderson County at the Civic Center next Friday night. The QR code is on here. You can also go to the Anderson County Civic Center website and get your tickets there. A couple of things that aren't on the flyer that I want to mention quickly. Well, first of all, I want to point out that your very own Atlanta is your national anthem. Involved. It's not just Anderson County may be hosting, but it's not a perfect Anderson County event. Secondly, we're going to have, sorry, I'll hold it right there. I went to Hart County, which is the neighboring county of Anderson County, right over the Georgia line. It's like 20 miles from Anderson County. I went to their meeting, and I heard this young man. He was a young black man, Jacob Watson Bridge, and he's 17 years old. Very impressive young man, and he started and is the chairman of District 10 Young Teen Republicans in Georgia. And so, we right there on the spot. He will be 18 by the election. So that's good. So he's going to come and speak and be kind of a precursor to Mr. West speaking, and two other things that will be done, or three other things. The Trump bus will also be there. So all that is on the flyer. A couple other things I wanted to mention. We did get Mr. West to agree to Grady's lovely Anderson is donating or giving us a business enterprise a Kennedy 45 rifle that Alan West is going to sign to the evening of the event, and we're going to have a great and wrap that off. So, and then what is the? I'm sorry, what's the last one?
No worries.
Oh, okay. I do want to mention too, I'm trying to remember what it is. There will be a call-in and an interview with Charlie James on Friday at 3:45. And
You said Ben and Blunt
yes,
will be performing.
singing the national anthem.
Oh, that's him. Okay,
Right,
okay, thank you.
But we're having a raffle, and maybe it was Jake Wan I was trying to think about. So anyway, my age is showing. But anyway, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, wants a big color flyer or whatever, I look forward to seeing you next Friday night. Thank you.
So it's funny, she said her age is showing, so I was trying to watch this event with this Amy Lost kid and President Trump, and so they was like kind of pushing on my phone and something. I was like, oh, I watched this thing. They said something called kid. I was like, what the heck is a kid? You know? So, I mean, it was apparently very valuable. You know, I just think it goes to, you know, credit to have somebody like you with such a visionary who can draw, you know, 15, 19, 20-year-olds and, you know, all the men are right here and said, why, you know, why can't somebody try to fix this problem a long time ago, you know, right? So, but anyway, back to it. So, yes, we have our coffee politics. We also have the national night out. We have some paperwork out there, Joe McLaughlin's group that is promoting the neighborhood safety idea as an outreach method. So we have information on that. I'm not sure what the dates are, but those are paperwork out there for you. Somebody must remind me of the dates. We can do that. The other thing is keep your eyes out for notice for a training for the upstate journals, which is our OT to help to loan bank for Trump and We're also in touch with Georgia and in touch with North Carolina, where we'll actually be traveling to those states, because the reality is we're the same state for the election. It's the other states that is, we had a call with Nancy Mace this morning. She said the same thing. Everybody's on the same page. We gotta help these swing states. So that's our events group. The other events, is there anything I missed? Yes.
I remember my other point.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is that we're going to have an enlistment ceremony that I know is going to be performing with the local recruits joining the Army, and like I said, LOS is agreed to lead the enlistment ceremony.
I'd like to ask our CDC Judge Davis to come forward and introduce our speaker for the evening.
I want you all to remember the last term I was chairman, I was really not one politician coming to speak to us. But there was one politician that came, I know we did later on with our rules, we had to come speak, but it's Senator Shane Martin. Shane Martin is a state senator, was elected in 2008 from Spartanburg County. He was a school board member before that, so anybody thinking about school board, let's talk, because we do have school board elections this November. But Shane represents southern Spartanburg County, part of Greenville County, and Union County. I know Mike Bowden was supposed to be here and introduce him tonight, but he's off on family vacation, so he asked me to reintroduce Shane. But Shane he's been a fighter. He will shoot straight with us. He will tell us what's going on. He's not worried about re-election because he hasn't had a challenger since he ran in 2008. Normally not a good thing unless you're a real conservative and you're a real conservative area, and that's what Shane's been able to do. And you don't really hear my spiel. My spiel is I don't like 95% of politicians. I can't tell you the 5% I like. Shane is in there. I might actually, because since we're flipping county council, I might have to change that. I don't like 90% of them. Shane's been fantastic. Working close with Mike, and they're doing some stuff to kind of really help us with legislative things. You know, we got to get people elected, and then we got to get, we're working on getting bills passed and things like that. Shane is working real close with Mike Bowden and all that kind of stuff. But the other good thing about Shane Martin, he likes to give me grief about it, but he's like, don't feel bad, Drew McKisson's gonna call me back either.
And we know he's a good guy. Yeah, woo!
Thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate that. Kind of messed me up. I was gonna ask him, was he not going to let Drew introduce me tonight? He can pick on himself enough. I don't have to do that. So, as he mentioned, been in the Senate since 2008. And let me tell you something. I've tried to get people to vote against me. I mean, I really have. And it would make people mad and things like that. But how many people are enjoying the Wild Wild West now since June? In South Carolina. Because the liberals and a lot of the liberal police chiefs told me when we passed constitutional carry, it was going to be the Wild Wild West. Everybody was
What?
Anyway, so that happens. So, I'm an engineer, run my own engineering business, I deal with racing. I was in the wind tunnel this morning, I was telling them over there, I left at chance of passing. But there's some that do have a chance of passing. So what Jeff and Mike and them have talked to us about is how can they be, or how can you be better informed on how to help us help you. And by helping you, we're helping us because we're going to get something good passed. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit. So a lot of times there'll be hundreds of bills that get pre-filed. And I can a lot of times tell which ones are really going to have a chance of passing and which ones probably aren't going to pass. You know, if it's banning stop signs, that's probably not going to pass. So there's a lot of things like that going on. But the one thing I wanted to tell y'all, and it made me think about the Senate Bill 915 that everybody does, the health STAR bill. That bill was sponsored by the head leadership in both the Republican and the Democrat Party. And it was in the name of reform. But what we learned through a lot of people calling and realizing things, we learned that there were things in current state law that were a big problem. And there's still a big problem today, but y'all raised awareness. So we didn't end up passing something that made things worse. So that's all I want to thank y'all. So I think one of the things that we have to look out for is when we have something that's sponsored by the head leadership of the Democrat Party and the head leadership of the Republican Party in the name of reform, I think what we've learned is it's going to get fast-tracked. It's probably coming through committee, and it's probably going to get to the floor of the House and then ultimately the floor of the Senate. I think that is a good place for us to start when we see those bills get filed. That means we need to really raise awareness. Well, what needs to happen is, people, I wish Mike was here, I think he's not, but we actually had a meeting, and what he talked about was how to get the groups together to do research, because a lot of times if you just look at a bill and the way it's written and it applies to old code, there may not be a change. It may be bringing in existing language, but there's no changes, but that's the way the bill gets written. And until you're really good at kind of looking through that, you may think that something's changing and it's not, or you may think something is going to be fine and not getting changed, and it is. But the biggest way that we can help is not waiting till the last minute, or wait till something's already passed the House, already about to pass the Senate, and then finding something wrong with it. I'm not picking on anybody in here, but I'm just saying, everybody in here wants to do good. And I think everybody in here wants to help us do the right thing and pass conservative legislation to protect our freedoms, especially our medical freedoms. I believe everybody wants to help us do that. The problem is when things get moved so far and people haven't heard from anybody, and we think, okay, this is going to fix this, and this is going to be good, and we didn't get any other feedback on it, then all of a sudden it gets passed, and then people find out something's wrong with it. It's a lot better if we can get together on the front end. And I'm not putting that all on you, I'm just trying to say, that's what we want to talk about tonight, is when we have these things. So what I'm going to be doing, what I'm committed to do, is to reach out to Mike Oden. He's one of my constituents and a good friend. He works hard. And he's going to try to assemble a team. And what I'm hoping is across this whole Greenville County, that everybody will do the same for their respective senator in those areas. So maybe get a couple of VCs, a couple of party members that meet with their senator or House member on a somewhat regular basis as we go back in these legislative sessions. I think that's what's going to really help. Because when we start seeing, once we get there and pre-files, start going to pre-files, does everybody know what that is? That's when people can pre-file a bill in late November or December for the January session start. Once we start seeing those pre-file bills, then a lot of us will start realizing, okay, yeah, some of these are going to move, or hey, there's an agenda to reform this, and there's 18 bills on it. That's a good sign that something on that topic is probably going to try to get pushed through a committee in the House or the Senate. And that's where we need to focus. So I think when you're looking through bills and you see things that pop up, if you can always just, and I left a bunch of cards with Jeff, so you can shoot me an email. I'm always going to reply to you. If you've got a question about a bill, or if you see something that looks like, okay, they're moving in a direction that they're going to make the hospitals do this, or they're going to make such and such do that. If you'll reach out to us, and I can put it on my radar and have my research director monitor everything. monitor the movement, see if there's anything getting traction, see if there's any amendments. And then I'm already prepared to sit down with Mike Bowden and whoever he brings to the meeting and say, look, I need y'all to help me research this. Help me understand where things are. That's what he's asked for. And I'm willing to sit down and meet with anybody. And I'm telling you, I can't do it all myself. And the few of us down there that are really, there's a handful of us down there that are really ready to fight. And we're really ready to take on these issues. But we're not, again, I'm not picking on any attorneys in the room, but you know, we don't have law firms that just send us down there and let us just do what we need to do and they take care of the work. And we're not independently wealthy, at least I'm not. So I need help, and I'm not up here trying to cry for help, but I'm just telling you that I would like to have some help and work through it so that we're all together on the front end. Because what happens, and I think they really love it, they love to get certain groups, and it's like you see in the national politics. What Marlon Kinston, the retired senator that's Biden's buddy, his name was, I never like to get in the middle of, I love to get in the middle of a Republican fight. So that's what they like. They like us fighting. So what they would love is to have a few of y'all think that this bill is great. A few of y'all think, oh man, this part right here is going to be doomsday. And go to talk radio and run it down and we get nothing. Sometimes I think that's their goal, is to get us splintered. What I want to do is get us all on the same page to start with, so we're not playing catch up because there was something that had we vetted it or known about that issue in the beginning, we could have probably stopped it before it ever got through committee, or at least changed it so that the bad part was out before it got to committee. So that's really what I want to talk about today is, and again, I'm not sitting here trying to put that on y'all, because I know y'all are out there working for a living too. You don't have time to argue what General Assembly's doing. But if you can help, if you hear something about a bill, or you see something about a topic that's coming up, if you could just shoot me an email and say, Senator Martin, or Shane, or Dumbo, whatever you want to call me, did you check on this? I'm hearing that they're going to do something with the hospitals, or I'm hearing that they're going to do something along these lines, and it scares me. Then I can get my staff to start working on it, monitoring it, and figure out which bill, okay, yeah, I'm hearing about that, but it looks like the House is going to push that issue. Let me get with my counterpart of the House that's on that committee and try to start making some changes, or work with the people in the House that are our allies to try to do that. And that's really what I wanted to let people know tonight is not every bill that you hear about or gets pre-filed is going to pass. But the ones that seem to be sponsored by the leadership or get talked about or the news media talks about in some way, then I think that's what we all need to get together and come up with a good plan out there. So, I mean, that's really the gist of it, because once something passes the House and passes the Senate committee and gets on the floor of the Senate, that shouldn't save them almost, you know, unless something really bad is found out, then it's going to be hard to stop it. And I just think if we work together on the front end, I think that's what's going to help. So I think that's really what I want to say on it. But what I like to do when I talk, I like to answer questions. I know, Jeff, I think that's okay to ask. Do y'all have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are you a member of the Freedom Caucus?
No, ma'am. We don't have that. That's in the House. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. If a bill recently, 3988, was passed into law, it lowers the age of consent to 16 years old can go and get the vaccine without the parents' authorization. And 12 years old can go with the caregivers, and I start thinking, well, parents are working, kids are at school, kids are at sports or after school programs, they're under the caregivers. The parents have to sign that if something happens, to take care of the child's needs. So in a pandemic, because it's a pandemic, it's not something natural, they can take your kid and get it jabbed. And I was Saturday at Walmart, and I was watching on plain tables how people were coming and getting vaccines, and they only get 1 hour training. And when something passes, I wish I would have done more, you know? But we went with a group we call Palmetto Freedom Alliance. We just named ourselves like that. And we went and we were trying to stop 915 and 3988. And that day, even Senator Hutter, he says, we're gonna take the language of the risks of the vaccines. Anyway, somebody's gonna die, so, you know, that's what he said. I mean, I literally copied the video, and outside I have a flyer with a QR code. Please take a look, because in there, I copied the video of what it was talking. Nobody said anything. Hey, that, you know, if I'm gonna go and get a vaccine, I wanna know the risk that I'm taking, you know? So what do we do now? How can we reverse that law? How can, because we cannot say, oh, it passed and let it be so. No, if we do wrong, we need to correct it. So how we correct it, and how we let parents know.
What she's talking about is House bill, in case you didn't hear, it was 3988, it was a pharmacy bill that came across from the House. It was in the Senate there toward the end. I was holding it up because my big thing was informed consent. So the positive of that, again, I'm not dismissing what you're saying, I would like to know way sooner on that issue. But that ship was gonna sail, that was already done, all the pharmacies were over there, they had the votes. So what I did on that bill was I got informed consent. Do you know what that is? So that you actually have to be informed, you have to sign what you're taking. So that's been nowhere in state law, absolutely nowhere in state law. So the people that I talked to about that bill, again, I'm not dismissing your points, I'm just trying to tell you where we were. When that bill was already done, the only thing I could do was get informed consent on that bill, and that's what happened on that. So I know that you have to sign, the parent has to sign, and she may have more information on that, but right now, if there's problems, I'm glad to look at it, I'm glad to try to see if there's something that we can roll back, if there's something like that deal, because it's our understanding that the kid, it had to be a parental or guardian that had to sign up for it, and if that's not the case, I'm willing to take a look at that and try to fix that. But that's one of the things that I was kind of talking about, but I wasn't going to call anybody out on it, but if we knew that way before that there were other problems with the bill, then it may have been different. But it was already so far down the tracks, I was really glad we got it for that consent, because now they were actually nervous about it, because there's nowhere in state law that it references informed consent. So that's a win for us when they try to tell us when we go for more medical freedom. Now we've already adopted informed consent, so we know what defines that. That's never been in South Carolina law anywhere. So that's the positive about it. I know there may be some negatives, man. I will end up talking to you and give you one of my cards, and you can email me something. But right now it's state law. There's nothing we're going to do about it right now. It's going to be next year. We're going to have to say, okay, this isn't right, and we're going to have to file a bill to amend that to get that done. I'm going to work on that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi there, Senator Martin.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? I'm Tammy Allen. I'm the president of O'Neill Precinct, and thank you so much for being here and for sharing that. And we appreciate that. When we organized the Palmetto Freedom Alliance, we went down to meet with the senators. You know, I think some of us saw you down there, and we met with some different ones. And Senator Cash came in to explain to us, but realized that was also like first part of July, I think, or later in June. Sorry, June 18th, I believe.
Yeah.
When the governor had called you all back in, that bill got officially 915 got officially killed on the last day of session by the
That was in May, yes, ma'am.
or in May, sorry,
Yes.
May 10th, I believe, you're right. And so then the governor did something that astounded us, and he put out, he said, you all got to come back into special session, and his goal was to get 915 passed, as we understood. And so we organized, and we said, no, we want to have a voice in this, because we had missed that earlier, we had missed that opportunity earlier. But it was a bill that was dead, and then we kept hearing it was coming back up, so that's why we organized, and we're very grateful actually that it was called back up in that way, because it helped us realize, yes, we do have to get involved earlier. And so just know that when we showed up there in June 18th, it was just to say, hey guys, you know, please do not pass this again, and we're very thankful that it didn't. We will be reaching out to you, we do need your help in this, and we need all the senators and the House member help in this. because when bills come along like that, they get killed and we have no say in it. Somehow we all missed it before May, grateful it got killed, but how can we know? How can we find out as soon as bills are introduced? What is our best way to accomplish that?
Well, you can look on the state website on that, and I think what you're talking about is you're talking about 915. 3988 was already done and signed the conference report, and just for, the governor did not call us back into session. So he can't call us back into session because we're adjourned until he died. He wanted to try so he could get that 915 passed, but that would have taken the House and the Senate calling themselves back in, and I can promise you, that's why I want y'all to give y'all self a hand. If y'all hadn't got involved, they would have said, Shane Martin's on a business trip in the summer, we're not going to be here, we're going to call back. And they would come in there and pass it without me present, or Senator Cash present, or Senator Corbin present. That's what would happen. And I don't need to be talking bad about it, but I can guarantee you, that's why it's important for us to have a signed die resolution, so that we're not willy-nilly calling the governor, because those of us that work for a living, and we know when the session ends, I'm trying to make a living for my family, and I'm not planning on being in Columbia. But they will, if you give the governor, if he's able to call us back, they will call back knowing that the ones they need are going to be just fine to come there on July 5th, or August 10th, or September 14th, whatever day. Wow. It'll be harder for those of us that work for a living to get there. And generally, that ends up being conservatives. So, but what you can do is what I was talking about with my state website. I think there's more emphasis now on the pre-files, and I think what I'm going to be doing, and I'm committed to doing and working with Mike, is when I see bills and I listen to our caucus and I start hearing a topic that I think is going to pass, I'm going to look at those bills and sort of figure out which ones the leadership signed on to. Because 915, the leadership signed on to. That was like a bipartisan of the top Republicans and top Democrats, and that's the way they sell it. It's like, oh, this is just going to fix this little bit of stuff. It's going to be great. We need it to cover all this. And that's when I plan to reach out to Mike and others to encourage everybody in here to have that kind of relationship with if I'm not in your area, if I'm in your area, join me in Mike. If I'm not, still join me in Mike. But, you can reach out to your own senator or house member. I think if we do that collective communication and figure out what's coming, I think we'll be able to get ahead of some of these things instead of trying to play catch up. Because all my political capital was used up getting informed consent on that policy deal, and it kind of hurts me to hear that there's more issues with it, and I'm committed to helping y'all fix that.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll come to you next. Got facts then.
Do you see 915 in some form coming back?
I do. And here's where we have the advantage. The people that want it, they were already over there, because I don't know if y'all know it, but right before the end of the session, I put informed consent on that bill. I put a few other good I'm the one that authored 975, the Medical Freedom Bill, that we couldn't seem to get here on because, let me tell you, I can promise you right now, on 975, we're not fighting Democrats only on that bill. We're fighting members of our own party. And let me tell you why. They think we're messing up the business owners. But here's the narrative that we started using, and I want to give, I need to give Amanda Hose from Spartanburg credit. She said, Senator Martin, when that business asks you to put something in your body that's in your body at 6:30 in the morning before you go to work, and it's still in your body at 6 o'clock at night, they ask you to do something that's not part of our right and work laws. That's the narrative that I've been trying, and the committees, they were getting, even my members of my own party were getting mad at me for tackling that way. I said, look, I'm all for right to work. I'm all for business owners to say, look, if you want to wear steel-toe boots in our plant, you can't work here. Okay, I got to put those steel-toe boots on from 7 to 3. And as soon as I get in my truck, I put on a pair of flip-flops. That's what I'm going to do. But if you force me to stick some dead young shot in my arm, it's stuck with me and my family forever. And they can find me all. And they can find me tomorrow, but guess what? I can't give them that damn pot shot back. It's stuff that me and my family have to deal with.
And it's
So that's the narrative. So when we talk about medical freedom, everybody in this room needs to talk about, hey, we want businesses to be able to have their policies. If you can't bring a cake with peanuts and bring it into people's allergic to it, that's fine. Don't bring peanuts to work. If you can't have lemonade, don't let them have lemonade. But don't make employees do something to their bodies. That's the narrative we have to take. It's really not the narrative, it's just the dead on truth. But that's what we have to be collecting. That's how we can work together. When somebody says, oh, you're making businesses, you're telling businesses what to do. No. We're telling people that they don't have to put things in their body before work and after work that impacts their lives outside of work. I really feel like that is the easy word narrative because it's the truth. But let me tell you something. The left and certain ones that have media, they stick narratives on us all the time. You know, we're just people trying to deny health care to women. You know, that's the way they treat us. No, I'm just trying to say that they need a woman. So that's the narrative. They win the narrative. There's nobody that I can never be pro-life in the media. I have to be anti-abortion. They have to put the negative. You know, it's got to be negative. So we need to win that war. Yes, ma'am.
But in that vein, which I tell all my friends, don't give them their word crafting. Don't call them pro-choice. Call them anti-life.
I like
Yes, it did. I just wanted to know, I was following you real well, everything you had to say, up until you got to the point where you said the governor couldn't call y'all back in. I was under the impression, and I was following the issue, that Henry actually did call both houses back in.
He at this time, he can request us to come back in.
Okay.
But he can't physically call us back in. He can't mandate us to call back in. Because we're adjourned sine die. We have an agreement on how we're adjourned.
Right.
Only the president of the Senate or the speaker of the House can call us back in. Now,
Okay.
the governor he can get on TV and say come back in, but it's not a mandate. But had we just adjourned on that day that you were there when 9/15 died, had we adjourned with no sine die resolution,
Right.
the next day the governor could have called us back into session, and we would have had to come.
Because that was what we were all concerned about, was they were going to make an amendment to the sine die resolution during that special session in order to bring 915
Well, I
back
was
up
concerned
again.
about that too.
Right.
But I'm telling you, and again, y'all gotta get, I'm not just blowing smoke, y'all gotta get yourselves ready for that. Y'all put the pressure on. Y'all were able to let us show our colleagues the kind of pressure we're under back home, that our folks didn't want this crap. And that's why it didn't go back up. That's why they didn't bring it up.
Good.
So the leadership's from the upstate.
Yeah.
And I mean, the president of the Senate's from Oklahoma, great guy, but I think he wants some of the reforms. I don't think he really saw all the stuff that may have been negative with 915. He just wanted the reforms and things like that.
Yeah.
But he listens to talk radio. He knows where we're at with our constituents, and that's why we didn't see him do anything, even attempted to amend the sine die, or even to call the Senate back into session.
Okay.
So that's why I'm telling you, the pressure works. And when we can show and they can see it, it's not just being there, man, I had some people call me, they don't want 915. I don't have to tell them, they know. They know the pressure that we've been under about what they don't want, or y'all don't want, you know what I'm saying. I get caught up talking to them, you know, they talk about my constituents, and then here I am with constituents, so it's a little bit. Yes, sir.
Yes, thanks for coming to speak with us tonight.
Thank you. Those acts are really bad.
There's an election integrity group who have requested the CVRs, cast vote records from the state. They've been refused, it's been tied into litigation. You know, it's SC Safe Votes, Laura Shar, and others. What's your awareness of this? Has it been expressed to you from multiple groups?
It has. And I think pick on my buddy Amanda Host, but I don't think she's mind me using her name because she actually came to that meeting all the way from Spartanburg to meet with my vote because she's committed to helping us do research and everything. She's got out of the medical profession, but she has that. Basically, what I did is I didn't know it wasn't over, so I waited until that ruling. And I know the judge that ruled on that, so I called him. But he cautioned me that it was still under appeal. So what he asked me to do was to to get something, I basically wrote something to the planning group so that they could have presented to the judge on both sides, basically asking them to make sure they held all the evidence and the records while this thing went through appeal. So that's my involvement with it, because at that point, it would have been an ethics violation for me to ask the judge to do something since it was under appeal. But I am aware of that, and I wrote everything that they needed me to write from my office to try to help them with the cause.
So along the same line of the election issue, Senator Martin, does the state have the power to stop people who are not citizens from voting in our elections?
We passed that this year. We don't, I think Josh Kimball did. I know some House members took credit for it, but the Senate did it back in February or March before all that blew up. So I think it's all passed now.
Is it being policed though? I mean, do we have
Accountability.
How do we check to make sure it's not happening? Because we're seeing other states that are actually purging the voter rolls of people who are not citizens, but who are registered to vote. So,
I need to find that answer out. That's a good question. You know, I mean, one thing we have been talking to our voter folks about is purging the voter rolls. Because every so often, I'll buy a new list. I'll buy a new list for voters, you know, so that I don't want to mail stuff, you know, vote for me to somebody that's passed away, right? You know, so we buy those. Well, I bought one several years ago. This might have been back in 2012, 2013. And I wanted to look because I knew this good friend of mine had passed away in 2009. He was still on that vote. So that's one thing that we've been trying to encourage them to do is clean up those voter rolls. Yes, sir.
So the problem is that we do get people on the rolls that are legally here, but they're not citizens, okay? We're not talking about illegals, we're talking about people legally here. There's a national database, I cannot remember the acronym for it, but it's called the SAVE database, S-A-V-E. If you look it up, you'll see that this is where the COPUS, who wrote VREMS, which is where we download our data, they should be, either COPUS or a VREMS product should be bouncing that data against the SAVE database to get those non-citizens off the rolls. And that's the question we need to know. The problem with the SEC and COPUS that wrote all that stuff, every time we find a good way to find information out, they will add, for the login, you have to add, they added the last four of your social to be able to log in. Every damn thing we do causes them to ratchet down and be a little more protective. I'd like to know who's behind the curtain. You know, this doesn't have to be that difficult. Our voter data should be free. I am crowdfunding. Every purchase is $2,500, $2,550 for the state's voter rolls. It's ridiculous. But I have crowdsourced. I now have funding 2 purchases. We've already purchased once on 3/18. We're going to purchase again a month before the election, and we're kind of we're deciding, I'm with Laura Schar's group, we're deciding whether we purchase a month after the election or the day after election. But this is all ridiculous. There's a lot of states that just put their voter rolls out for free for people to download. And we're having to go through so many hoops just to ask simple questions that the SEC won't answer. And the other thing is, with Laura Schar, the SEC is using lawfare and trying to get their attorney's fees back from Laura Schar. And she's 80 grand in the hole on this so far. And this should never happen. There are so many people. I'd like to know where the money goes when we purchase that data. I want to know, where does that money go? Who's getting a new car with it?
His question, sir, is where does the money go when somebody purchases voter roll data? And his comment was, why can't it be free like some other states? And that's something that could somebody shoot me an email on that? I really don't want to forget that.
Yeah, it's a big issue.
It is.
I mean, that's the chilling effect the State Election Commission is keeping our guys that want to do election integrity. They're charging $2,500 to download the data.
You just have to email it. It's not as costing them paper.
They don't want it.
They don't want you to know what's going on.
What's that? No, no.
We'll get the gentleman in the black hat, then you. Sir, raise your right hand.
Yes, sir. The state constitution requires all elections to be by secret ballot. There's a law that makes buying a vote illegal. On election day, all of the pathways to buying a vote have been voided. So you can't, on election day, there's no way anybody can buy a vote. There's no pathway to buying a vote on election day. But with every mail-in ballot, the voter can prove to a vote buyer how they voted. Why do we not have an effective secret ballot law? And I know that voting processes that can completely replace mail-in ballots and be constitutional and have election integrity.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I do know that we were fighting on the mail-in. We were fighting drop boxes and making sure the wooden signature was there. So
drop boxes is just a symptom of the bigger problem.
I understand, but I'm just saying that's what we were focused on fighting that, and the signature the judge was about to take away as far as that goes.
We did not have an effective state secret ballot law to put into law what is in the Constitution.
Yeah, we're not following the
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, again, I'm glad to take a look at that
I'd
too.
like to talk to you after the meeting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You read it. Sorry. Lots. Terrible.
It's okay.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't have a question so much as a statement that I'm hoping you concur with. I said, I don't have a question so much as a statement that I'm hoping you concur with. All these obstacles to that are trying to get in the way of safe elections, transparency, like the issue the gentleman was bringing up with the ridiculous cost of getting our hands on the voter rolls, or the SEC coming for the people who are doing election integrity. All this stuff, at this point, there's no longer plausible deniability of these people just whatever their story might be as to why they're doing it. We need to look at this as an attempt to steal the election again.
Yes.
Because the 2020 election was stolen.
Yeah.
We cannot allow it to happen. If it happens again, it's all over.
We'll never return if it happens again.
Exactly.
So I'm going to segue off that, if you don't mind. I do concur with what you said. I had a scheduled call with my congressman today at 4 o'clock, and didn't realize that he's in Germany. So he called me about 4 o'clock, which is at 10 o'clock Germany time. So I emailed him some questions that I wanted answers to. What I put on one of the questions was, since all of this is coming to light that we knew in 2020, but it's really coming to light more about Georgia and Pennsylvania and Michigan and those places, I said, what are we actually as a whole? What is anything that our federal folks are doing? Is there anything? I'm really paying attention to the RNC, but he actually referenced the new guy. Is it Whaley White?
North Carolina.
He actually said that he's coming up with a good plan to have poll watchers in all the precincts across the nation. So what Congressman Timothy said, well, I'm going to the Greenville GCRP. He told me today, hello. And he also said that the biggest thing that y'all can do to help is, right now, he feels like South Carolina is going to go for President Trump no matter what, no matter how many poll watchers. That's a good thing. But he said if you could volunteer your time, he's going to Pennsylvania himself to poll watch at a precinct in Pennsylvania. So I applaud that. So we're going to help for us. He's not expecting us to all fly to Pennsylvania or Michigan unless we can. But he said if we could go to Georgia precincts and North Carolina precincts, he said that would actually help more than you get your neighbor to vote for Trump here. Still get your neighbor to vote for Trump here, but actually want North Carolina or Georgia to doing that. But he did say that Georgia had tightened up and passed in state law what they were able to do the shenanigans with in 2020. So that did make me feel good. And he said that on the RNC's website, and again, I didn't look it up because I was trying to get to the delegation meeting in Spartanburg and get here, but he said on their website, they've got something about election. It should be easy to find, and you could actually email or look up on there where you could be most used or volunteer or sign up to be a poll watcher. And I think, really, I always sit there and ask, what more can I do? You know, what more can I do? What I do is in my engineering business, I travel all over the country. Anytime I'm ever in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin or Arizona, I try to talk to people. If I'm out eating, I try to talk to them about the president. My daughter and I were in Arizona in 2020. We were actually walking around downtown Phoenix with all the protesters that were protesting the election. So that's what my daughter and I were doing after the 2020 election. We were in Phoenix, Arizona together on a business trip here in COVID while she was in online school. So anyway, that's something, but I think that's something that we can all do to make a difference. It made me feel good that actually the RC might be doing something. And again, I hate to ding on, but I mean, they really didn't do a lot in 2020, but I think they got some new leadership now. And I think they realized that a lot of us, like I used to send them money, I didn't send them anything. Maybe I should have, perhaps you can do it. I think maybe they're learning from that. But I think that's what we can all do is, hey, if you got a friend in Wisconsin, maybe go over there for that day and be a poll watcher. So I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm at on that day, maybe I can do the same thing. Oh, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Hi.
The lights are really.
That's okay. Julie Hershey, and I'm the EC of Ware Place. I've talked to you different times, Senator Martin, and I just want to thank you for your conservative record, and thank you for coming here and speaking to all of us. I do have a question about a program called ERIC. It's an acronym, and I'm wondering if this gentleman down here may have been wondering about that organization. It goes to different states under the guise of cleaning the voter rolls. So our legislature is one of the states that have bought this program and brought ERIC in. ERIC does not clean the voter rolls. What they're doing is they are actually locating EBUs, which is eligible but unregistered voters. And they look at them demographically and they try to choose who's going to vote, who will vote Democrat. And they're very good at getting a hold of these people and registering them as Democrats. And it comes in real handy. You know, when we all had the primary, and we had some runoffs, all of a sudden, some other voters come in. We have an open primary. We get Democrats in these Republican primaries, and they flip the seat. And it's very dangerous. That's why we're getting this big, and they want, what they want to do is they want to flip the state completely blue. That's why we're a little purple. And
I don't disagree with that.
so how can we get ERIC out? Kick him out.
I'm going to answer that. I'm going to tell one thing on the other side. Jeff's watched, y'all watched me put up amendments and try to fight and close the primaries. I don't have one of those. So I can probably find the letters that I've written about getting our state out of there. I didn't really know what area it was, but when constituents like you told me some of the stuff going on, we don't need to be a part of that. I can't even get the state election commission to even really talk to me about it. They just tell me, they give me some BS stuff and they won't. And I'm a state senator, but they blow me off. So I don't know what it's going to take.
Well, it's very dangerous. What it is they give it to nonprofit organizations with the money from George Soros, the Ford Foundation, all these little organizations that set up these nonprofits. The nonprofits are the ones that go out and get the EBUs, and they switch them to Democrats.
I think the only way to do it is when we talk about trying to get your questions answered on the vote rolls and being paid for. gonna take some legislative effort, but we've gotta come up with a bill that we can all get behind and explain. Because if I just set up a bill to get rid of Eric, then all the people are gonna come in, oh, do you realize you're gonna stop us from doing this? Or you're gonna stop us from doing that? I'm not addressing what you're saying, I'm just telling you, they want me to be candid in what we're up against, that's what we're up against. Even if we're all in agreement and it sounds good to get rid of Eric, y'all gotta help me lay out the case of what are we gonna replace it with? Or when we get rid of it, then what? Or they're gonna all use that and mow me and a few other conservatives over, and we end up with nothing. So that's what I would love to hear from y'all, a good plan to get rid of Eric and do what we need to do to keep our stuff safe. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're actually fighting Eric right now. That's why we're doing the purchase. And it's not, oh, thank you.
Tell everybody.
Thank you. And Julia's, all right. Julia's actually right. Eric is the problem. So is that save database. I don't know how it's bounced against. The other thing is, the voter rolls themselves, this is another problem. When you download the data, this is horrific. You download the data, and then every street name and every person with apostrophe in their name is just mangled. And I believe they do this on purpose, because then it takes someone that isn't truly talented with the data. When they download, let's say, their precinct, they can't really use it. They can't import it or whatnot. They got to fix it, and it may be beyond their ability. And I think that's intentional. Now imagine, just think for yourself, answer it for yourself. You know, how many streets out there are going to be wrong? How many people's names are going to be wrong? And which people does that affect the most? The SEC. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a criminal organization at this point, and I can't see it any other way.
I want to say one thing, I've given Jeff a bunch of my cards, so if anybody wants to get a hold of me or email me something,
thank you.
Please get a card from Jeff so that you can do that. And again, I want to help you, but I'm just telling you now, I want to make this clear. Even if me and a few other conservatives are 100% in agreement with what you're saying, lockstep behind you, if we don't have the right information to convince our colleagues, it's not going to go anywhere. And I don't mean to be, I'm not passing the buck, but they want me to hit the hard reality of what we're up against in Columbia. If I don't have enough information, even if I believe it 100% in my heart, if I don't have enough information or enough to go and get my colleagues to buy into it, we can't make a difference. And that's where I need y'all's help too.
Thank you.
Just one question.
I'm sorry, I thought she was, yes, ma'am.
Is the election commissioner of South Carolina appointed by the governor?
Yeah, how do we get rid of them? They're not.
I'm pretty sure that we nominate some pigs to governor on the commission, but I think they elect the chairman, and the governor's got, I may be talking out of school here, but I know the governor gets picks, and I think the Senate and House gets picks on the election, the board, and I think the board comes together and hires the executive director.
How do they get fired?
Or arrested.
I hope we got rid of the other lady who was
That's
trying to
right.
get on the drop boxes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we need to get rid of her. But I think the governor would have a big say in getting rid of that chairperson. Yes, ma'am.
How do we hold the state accountable for how they've treated our elected chairman?
Yes.
They don't allow him to speak or come and represent us, so we're not represented by our chairman that we elect. I don't understand. Who holds who accountable? I just don't understand.
Well, I would email Drew Kissinger or call him.
I
and say,
spoke
That speaks well for you.
I spoke to him. His words to me on approach was that I belonged to Jeff Davis, a criminal, that I needed to leave him. That was what my problem was. He can say that about him, but we can't say anything about them.
I thought I was speaking to the Greenville County GOP. That's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and who's your newly elected executive committee?
Jeff Davis.
Okay, I don't know why you would be denied to go to any meeting.
He has been
He has
for
been.
2 years.
Oh, yeah.
They won't let him in.
It shouldn't be.
But it's, I mean, this is so, you know, think about it, Deborah, it's what we talk about all the time. It's getting the votes, it's what changed. I said, if you don't have the numbers, that decision was made by the EC body that is controlled by so that's the problem. So they were able to get people, they followed the right procedure, they voted, they did not allow him to defend himself. It was a very spurious charge because the whole issue was around him telling a lie about Chad County, which actually we all know is true. So but this is the problem. We focus a lot on these little issues, but the big picture solution is to work hard enough to replace these people. That's how we help change. That's how we get some of these things done. Because we're not going to control their behavior. I mean, I love President Trump's, you know, snake story. You know, don't yell when a snake bites you. You know? So this is reality. We have just got to get the numbers, you know, and that's the solution to a lot of our problems. So it is very frustrating. You know, I made a motion to make motions. We go on with all the right things, but they control the numbers. And as long as they control the numbers, we're going to have this problem.
The numbers as in the people who.
The committee. So just like easy body, just like you guys. So it's a easy body that they control.
So when we elect our person, they can override it.
And that's really what happens in the Senate. If you've got let's say four of us conservatives are really on something, and we get outvoted, that's basically what they've done. They didn't tell us we couldn't go to a meeting, they just had the votes.
Democracy.
I understand. Thank you for, I'm just frustrated.
And then you talk about, you know, somebody mentioned something about the governor earlier. That's one thing that y'all really need to be thinking about that's coming up. Because here's what's going to happen. Let's hope President Trump gets elected again, okay?
We are.
That's going to be good. Well, what's that going to do in South Carolina? I don't think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of people in like statewide constitutional offices. They're going to be going. Somebody's going to be going up there to work with President Trump. You're probably going to might have a Senate seat open because of that. You might have a congressional seat. Might have a couple constitutional officers that go away. But in 2026, you're going to have a new governor. But let me tell you right now, who's in charge of your medical freedom today? That's Henry McMaster. Read the law. I've got letters and just read before that I sent to him. Tom Ford asked one time, he goes, Senator, why do you write the governor them letters? Why don't you just call him? I said, because when COVID's over, and I tell people, yeah, I called the governor, they're going to look at me and say, yeah, right. Now that they look at my letters back when it was early on and challenging that wasn't cool, Shane Parks got the letters where he was asking the governor not to shut our businesses down and to keep our state open. But he'll take credit for all that now. But when it comes to your medical freedom and what the laws are, and like the bills stop, right now your governor is your health czar. In case y'all didn't know that. I mean, that's really who's in charge. So you better elect a conservative governor in 2026. That's what you need to do. Somebody that wants to go. You're going to have a bunch of people that want to be governor. But you're going to have a bunch of those people that don't know anything about government. And that's what you're going to be up to.
Hey, Jay, you want to be governor? That's what I was.
Yeah! Governor! Governor!
But seriously, that's what y'all need to think about, is having somebody that's going to be willing to stand up and do what's right for us. Because right now, and I don't want people in the state chamber of commerce, but that's who makes the decisions. He was afraid to tell Nefron and all the big people in the state chamber that we got to do, we need to do this to keep our state up. He was scared because that's where the money comes from. But you got to have somebody that doesn't need all that for their money. They're concerned about that. They're concerned about the people they represent. And that's why I sent those letters, because I knew the people that elected me to be their state senator, they wanted me to stand up for their medical freedom during COVID, and that's what I did.
Thank you.
I was on the state committee that looked for that election law. And when we did our study, we found the problem with big people voting is that the majority has prevented
People vote for Democrats.
That's actually a good issue we can bring up in that restructuring. But that's where we're gonna get them, is they all want some restructuring, and granted, after all the changes, there may need to be some restructuring. If it's positive, it actually is good for the taxpayer. But we've got to get the medical freedom and make sure we get the restructuring that we want. Not what they want.
Right.
We want, if there's restructuring that's good for the taxpayer and streamline anything, nobody wants to be in the way of that. But if there's a slit between the cup and the lip, and that restructuring is gonna allow them to get away with something that takes away our freedom, we don't want that. But right now, we've got the high ground and the leverage, because they know we're not gonna give up on medical freedom. And they know that we know that they want some restructuring. So that's probably gonna be the biggest thing to look out for in 2025, is what they're gonna try to do for restructuring. So what I'm committed to do is work with the Senator from Beaufort, Tom Davis, who is like the workhorse on this for the leadership. He knows where I stand on medical freedom, and he supports me. Even Senator Wheeler supports me, Chairman of Finance, who really wants the restructuring. They support me on medical freedom. What we have to do is change the narrative to where we're not telling businesses what to do, but we're telling medical people that that businesses can't require medical treatments on their employees just because they think it's good. And if we can win this, that's probably gonna be the biggest win we can do in 25, is get medical freedom. If we get the medical freedom and they don't really get restructured that's bad, if we have to give up a little restructuring to really get medical freedom, like really get medical freedom, not just, hey, we said we got medical freedom, but it's really not, real medical freedom. And it may be a time that we could do something all in one with that pharmacy thing too, maybe we can get all that at the same time. But I'm willing to work on it, but I'm gonna need people to help me do the research to make sure, because the thing that's gonna tell me that it's restructuring, I look at it, and that looks okay, and I'll be good for the taxpayer. I need some experts out here to really look at it, or let me know somebody I can talk to make sure they're not just pulling the wool over my eyes and make me think it's something good.
Well, we appreciate those comments, and I think you've given us a lot to think about and some great ideas that are learned, particularly as we go, if you have the election, 2025 is reorg. So, I mean, all of us are running, you may be completely, different faces here, but, we're committed to staying, remaining in America First group, and after once that's cemented, then give us some great input on how we may restructure ourselves to be more effective. I love the idea that we actually already talked about breaking ourselves up by, legislative district versus we're now pretty much on the same restructuring. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your attention. Are we ready for the credentialing committee report?
Hope so.
Yes, it is.
Joe couldn't be here tonight because his daughter's in the hospital, so we should keep him in our prayers. The credential report is 78 precincts present, and 7 of those are proxies, so we do appreciate if you can't make it, that you appoint proxies to come in your place. So thank you very much.
We appreciate that, and please your prayers for for his family's doing really well. But we actually, the RNC week was really a week of miracles. Ann prayed, talked about the prayer about the miracle of President Trump and his state. But we also had some great news about Bethel in Austin, Greater Austin. I mean, we just have he's
still on the throne.
God,
yes.
And it's the age of our group, we expect Jim Slice is doing better, but we know people are having issues because of the age of our our group. So we're very, very grateful for all of that. And then even if we don't know about you, you're always, in our prayers, particularly with those through family, medical, whatever kinds of issues. So with that, I'd like to have, if I can simply go ahead and adopt the agenda and move to the next slide, and we can finish up our business for the evening. So.
There you go.
There you go.
So by consent, can we adopt this evening's agenda? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Excellent. Okay, now at this point, we'll move on to the next item, which is the treasurer's report from the computer, right here.
Just saying, you can hear me now. Does anybody want me to show them the report?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. So in June 1st, we started with a balance of $69,23.93. General donations for the June business meeting were $457. Thank you very much. Membership dues, $811. And we had a check from, I think it was Stan Sublakis for the Greenville Drive Cannon event that got late. And so that went into the bank and we had a total income of $1,518. Our expenses were $150 for the sound technician for the meeting. We had $50.50 for our general liability insurance and $1,300 for our rent and utilities. We had office supplies, $226.01, and the GoDaddy expenses $503.64 for a total expense of $2230.15, and our balance, ending balance on hand was $6211.78. I will say that the GoDaddy expense is incorrect, and we are fighting it. So there will be a correction for that. That's for the hosting for the website. Beginning balance for July, $6211.78. We had membership dues come in $706. That's our total of income. And our expenses were again $1,300 for the rent and utilities, $50.50 for the general liability insurance, $77.70 for office printing and expenses. Total expenses $1428.20, and our ending balance is $5489.58. We will be, well, I probably, when I'm done here, I'll run in the back and get baskets, and we're going to be passing the baskets for donations. Thank you for everyone who can donate, and anybody, I'm behind on membership renewal, so please bear with me. If you are a member now, I'm just late sending my, hey, please renew. So if you're a member or you just feel like becoming a member, if you're not now, we would love that as well.
Tell you guys about something that Mary is doing, which is really, she's a lot of leadership across the state. So I don't know if you're familiar with this whole issue of this ethics filings, but it's a kind of a big issue in our state. There's sort of a rift between the state political party and our sort of infrastructure. But long story short, Greenville, to this point of us being the leaders, we were the first really to sort of get that process rolling after we were notified by the state that we were not in compliance. Well, now what's happening is Mary's going to become the expert consultant. So this morning she got a call from New York, and she's going to get a call from Charleston. Some people are coming to us, which is again the message I wanted to take to the RNC, which is why I had the short meetings to talk about really all the people who are really behind the work that gets done. Because one of the things that you really see in a business like this is how critical they are. There's those people that do the unsung heroes that are there plugging in tables or doing buying data, and we just have such an amazing group. I just it's mentally we don't have to just look at RC pictures or just look at, but I did want to just again thank everybody that voted for our team that won. It was really just an amazing event, and just to be there a moment of history, because I actually got into the RNC on Saturday when the assassination attempt happened. And it was one of the scariest moments of my life, because this guy came barely into the hotel lobby, and what he said was they shot Trump. And for just that second, I didn't know he was there for life. And it was just, I remember it was the same feeling I had when Kennedy was shot and seeing the towers go down. I mean, there's just something about that kind of event that you can't communicate. But then the crazy thing was there were 3 TVs in the lobby, but they got sports, they got MSNBC, and we're all going nuts, man, trying to find Fox or something. So we ended up huddling around somebody's phone watching Newsmax. But it was just amazing. So anyway, the other thing that, if you go to the next slide, that's our agenda. The other thing is, that I put in the chat. So that's our iconic picture right up there. Which I think is great, but you also have to learn how to fight. Because one of the things that we really learned at the RNC is how not to fight your boss or to challenge your leader, because there's a way to do that. So the funniest thing about our proceeding group at the RNC was South Carolina was actually seated behind Guam. So everybody was also saying, "You guys are at the RNC, but we don't see you," So they never saw us on television, but that was purposeful, because our state leader had actually challenged enslaved people that President Trump wanted elected, and I'm talking about this the last meeting, but he actually challenged that to put, this typical crony political stuff, to put people that Trump did not want, and I thought to myself, who does that, But anyway, that's what happened, we had those, but it was nothing to take away from that event, so I encourage everybody to start the work, because it really starts at the precinct level, and getting people to support you, so thank you. All of you guys that supported us, but if you're interested in doing it, it's a once in a lifetime event, and I don't sleep with my bling from the VIP session. So just a couple of our photographs there to see people. So this another kid on the left, so there is he's actually a rapper that did this song about voting for Trump. And actually, YouTube has taken, it's unbelievable, this censorship thing. It is completely scrubbed, because it has like the music for Ice Ice Baby. So apparently this guy who Ice Ice came back and said, "Oh, you can't use my music." But anyway, that's just a side story. So some great photos here of everybody. See some people here in the audience. We go to the next slide. Oh, so the other one is interesting here. The one up in the corner, that's another interesting to talk about this whole thing of why we have to fight. So I don't know if you guys, if you follow the market today, it's scary, right? But the guy there is in the middle with Donna and myself, and actually from Harvard, that's Evan Nunes, who is the CEO of Truth Social. And so it was just a total God-leading situation. He was really leading the event theater that day. And I had just read on Twitter that somebody had done this short, which is basically making a bet that a stock is going to go down. It was an unbelievable stock short of Truth Social. So basically somebody that was betting that the company was basically almost going to go bankrupt. So we're like, what's going on? And we see stuff on social media, you don't necessarily believe it. But I saw Evan Nunes, who's the CEO, and I saw him, and he said, yeah, it's true. So it's so weird, because the timing, and he said, I'm not going to go to the conspiracy aspect of it, but the timing of this short, which would have had billions of dollars of impact right around the assassination time, just gave everybody pause. So that was really, that was so when I saw him, and to find out this is something I should worry about. So that was interesting. Here's the shirt with everybody's name. Let's see. Oh yes, the Coffee Politics update. So I did have some questions from a member of the Circle Creek Precinct. She had sent me a long time ago. It's just some things that she wanted to know about. So I thought, well, if it's worth talking to her, I'll just share it with everybody else. So I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but we'll go through that. So just a reminder that Coffee Politics is not an official GCRP meeting. It's not mandatory. There's no voting. And it was really set up to, so we're not in a situation like this, which is fairly structured. There's a lot of rules around discourse. It was set up to kind of get away from that, give us a chance. And like-minded people to get together in an informal setting. So in like any other informal subgroup in the GCGOP, there's, all these women's groups, there's patriot caucuses, it's not defined or constrained, so I just wanted to make sure that your people realize that. So if you go to the next slide, these are the questions that we got from Circle Creek precincts. So we had the issue of why are the meetings taking place at their not HQ. So a couple of things, I don't know if people realize that most county parties do not have an office. So a headquarters is not a mandatory thing, it's a thing, it's sort of a luxury. I think Charleston is in the process of getting an office, but we are unique in having this. And the one that we had in the past, which was also in Wade Hampton, that was never used for social gatherings like coffee politics. It was mainly a business office. So just to clarify that. And so there's a couple of things that we have kind of outgrown the space. And people actually like Denny's, and I tell you, the servers love us, because now they have some regular income, there, and so we're meeting there. And we also had at one point during the election season a lot of press coming in, and there was a little bit of concern about just having, people from the media just sort of hanging out in the office. So at this time it's working out great, so that's where we are. So this other question was why is the body paying rent, etc., or a structure that's inadequate? This model is unchanged. None of the previous offices used GCGOPs, used the office space for, for a social work or a meeting space. So there's nothing different. So I would also point out that business meetings are infrequent. It does not make sense to rent a space, a permanent office space, when you're doing something like this every other month. We don't have the funding, and even if we did, it would not be a good source of resources. So we're not doing anything any differently than that was done in the past. So we did have an issue, an AC issue at HQ that's been repaired. So this issue of the ADA, we don't know where that came from. The building got an occupancy license from the beginning, so we don't know why this is coming up. And so that's something that we're just looking into, but that's passed as well. So it's not, we're not renting space for committees to meet, and yes, it does serve as an office space for other business entities, but no, this question has come up, I think this is the 1,000th time. You do not go to your next door neighbor and ask them how much rent they're paying, or what their utilities are. That's just crazy, so no, that's not going to happen. So anyway, so I think that is that, and what's the next slide? Let's see here, for the update, if you go to the next one. Calls to action. So we had this before, but I love Bill Brady, and are we proud of him for, getting second place? So I think this is, a good reminder, our mission and purpose. What does success look like to us? I mean, I think Shane was great tonight to lay out a good roadmap for us. So we have to kind of know where we're aiming at. So what do we value? And Bill talked about, because he and I kind of talk occasionally, because he really has a lot of respect for our group, but he says we're a little bit like wild children, kind of emotional, little fights. And he said you could be better if you could control some of the things that happen. So, and he's a big believer in avoiding what he calls foxhole fights. We're in a war, which is literally we are in today. You don't have time to say, I really like the color of that sweater you're wearing, so. Classes have a good battle plan, metrics, and then, after action, or to look and see how you're doing. So if you go to the next one, so the calls to action is, Roger, we just heard a lot about that, so please get in touch. And I love this idea of co-watching in these other states, because it's passionate as we are about South Carolina. Our phone banking and our co-watching for Trump Force 47 is going to be outside the state. So we have that, and then if you go to the next one, that's the upstate generals. Thank you for that great graphic. So this is little people who reached out from counties from our county, from York, from Pickens, and I think one more that double Lexington County. So they said they all want to get together, and so that's our team. It's really fun. We actually started training right before the RNC. And when you do the training, they got a leaderboard so you can see the board is scrolling and who's made how many calls. So it really gets your competitive spirit. So next one is, that's just the school board. I did see Jack. If there's any other, because I know we started kind of early, so I saw you come in, Jack, and you just stand up and let people know. Any other school board candidates here that came in that people should know who you are?
Lisa. I don't think it's Lisa.
Okay, this is reminds us of how hard we have to work, and I'm panicking when I did this, it's like 92 days to the election. And so that's kind of that number that said if we contacted every voter in Greenville, the amount of time we should, that's how many times we would talk to them. And clearly we're not doing that, but it's just a good reminder that 7 times. And then last, let's see, what I think, this is the last one. Thank you very much. Okay, I got my glasses on.
Okay, the minutes from the business meeting for June the 3rd were previously distributed to everyone. Does anyone have a correction on those? If not, can we vote by acclamation to approve those?
Yes.
Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah, so then our item of unfinished or old business, I'm sure we're sitting, I'm sure he's having a heart attack right now. But anyway, so this is, as you all may recall, we did have a resolution of censure motion in our previous meeting. And so that's motion, rule, according to Rule 3D, it requires that we read first and then we do a second reading and have a vote. And this censure motion is based on an individual who violated the rule that says only the county chairperson can be a spokesperson for the party. So it has nothing to do with bad social media behavior. It relates to the fact that an individual presenting information that's completely inaccurate to the extent that people call from other counties asking to verify their crime. So that is what the censure motion is about. You have to think of it the same way that you think of the county council censure that we did. So at this point, I'd like to ask Ryan Council for bringing this back off the table. You know, we read the motion, we're just going to have him read it. He's a British proxy, and you recall from the previous meeting that Griffin was the one to introduce the motion. So then,
Greenville County Republican Party resolution of censure for Jonathan Bright, EC, Mountain Creek Precinct. Whereas the Greenville County Republican Party officially maintains accounts and pages on Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social, and X, including GCRP ECs and presidents on Facebook for the purpose of sharing county party communications and events. And whereas Jonathan Bright posted the following statement on the GCRP ECs and presidents page on Facebook. And whereas this statement followed a few days after Jonathan Bright failed to secure enough votes as he presented a motion at the GCRP April business meeting requesting the resignation of State EC Jeff Davis. And whereas Jonathan Bright's statement was false and derogatory in nature, and whereas Jonathan Bright's statement was pertaining to official business activity of the Greenville County Republican Party, and whereas the Greenville County Republican Party Rule 4A, subsection 3 reads as follows, quote, the county party chairman shall be the only official spokesperson of the county party, and only the executive committee shall set policy. The staff director and other paid staff shall implement policy of the county party as directed by the county party chairman, end quote. And whereas Jonathan Bright is not the chairman of the Greenville County Republican Party, therefore we, the executive committee of the Greenville County Republican Party, issue this resolution of censure to Jonathan Bright, EC, Mountain Creek Precinct, on this 3rd day of June 2024.
thank you very much. Thank you. So is there any discussion before the vote? Okay.
Motion to vote.
Okay, vote. We call the question?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No. Roll call.
Oh, sorry.
Do a roll call vote.
Okay.
There has to be a motion to do a roll call.
Okay.
I motion to roll
Let's
call.
make a motion for a roll call vote.
Is there a second?
Me. Susana Sarabia, third place.
Aye.
Wait, Madam Chairman, who was the second?
Me.
Jeff Brown.
Who's
Susana
me?
Sarabia.
Brown.
Oh. Okay, no problem.
Devin.
Okay, since we don't have ballots for us tonight, we'll just have to go.
Roll call.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Okay, yes.
You need any help?
Okay. Aiken? Yes or no? Okay, Aiken is no longer present. Alderman Forrest, yes or no?
Larry Kelly's not here.
He has signed in, but he's not. I have to sign no.
All right, then I say no.
No. Okay. Let's see. Ashton Lakes,
Aye.
Baker Creek,
Yes.
Boylan Springs,
No.
Ridge Fork,
Yes.
Castle Rock,
No.
Clear Creek, that's me, I vote yes. Coniston, I believe they left. Devonshire,
Yes.
Donaldson,
Yes.
Dovetree,
Yes.
Edwards Forest,
No.
Fork Shoals,
No.
Fox Chase,
Yes.
Furman,
No.
Gallinsville,
No.
Granite Creek,
No, against communism, thank you.
Grays Branch,
Yes.
Greenbrier,
Yes.
Greenville 1,
Yes.
Greenville 3,
Yes.
Greenville 4.
Yes.
Excuse me, Heather,
Yes, ma'am?
I forgot to sign in Botany Woods, yes.
Okay.
I'll go back here.
All right, Greenville 5,
Yes, ma'am.
Greenville 10,
Yes.
Greenville 17. Abstain. Greenville 19,
Yes.
Greenville 20,
Yes.
Greenville 22,
Yes.
Greenville 23,
Yes.
Greenville 25,
Yes.
Greenville 26,
Yes.
Grove,
Yes.
Hillcrest,
Yes.
Holly Tree,
Yes.
Jennings Mill, Leewood,
Yes.
Mauldin 1, Mauldin 2,
Abstain.
abstain. Mauldin 3,
Yes.
Mauldin 4, Mauldin 5,
No.
Mission,
Yes.
Moore Creek,
Yes.
Neely Farms,
Yes.
Oakview,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Paris Mountain,
Yes.
Pebble Creek,
Yes.
Pelham Falls, Piedmont,
Yes.
Poinsett,
Yes.
Braintree,
No.
Ranch Creek,
Yes.
Rocky Creek, Saluda,
Yes.
Sandy Platte,
Yes.
Sevier,
No.
Simpsonville 1,
Yes.
Simpsonville 2, Simpsonville 4,
Yes.
Southside, Stonehaven, Superville,
Yes.
Stonehaven, yes.
Stonehaven, yes. Sugar Creek,
Yes.
Silver Springs,
Yes.
Sycamore,
Yes.
Tanglewood,
Yes.
Thornley,
Yes.
Tigerville,
Come on, Joe.
Trade,
Yes.
Travelers Rest 1, Travelers Rest 2,
No.
Tubbs Mountain,
Yes.
Tiger River, Vermont,
Yes.
Wakehampton,
Yes.
Ware Place,
No.
and just double check, I guess. Jeff, did I get your vote as EC?
No, you didn't get 10, but there's a lot, there's something that you missed.
Oh, Walnut Creek.
Okay, what was Jeff's vote?
Yes.
Your vote is yes, okay. Did I miss anyone?
Woodruff Lakes.
Timberlake, let me find it.
She said.
Okay, I didn't have anyone signed in for Timberlake.
It was a proxy.
Proxy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a yes. Okay, and
Walnut Creek.
Walnut Creek.
Walnut Creek.
It's also a proxy.
Okay, there is no Walnut Creek listed, there's Walnut Springs.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't read that off. Was the vote for Walnut Springs?
Yes.
Voted yes, okay. Did I miss anyone else?
Yes. Silver Tree.
You're right, I missed reading that. Okay, what was your vote? All right, did I miss anyone else?
I have the wrong, you administered the wrong one for me. It says Rocky Creek, and that's not correct. It's Woodruff.
Okay,
Lakes.
did I call your precinct?
No.
That's not hers.
Okay, so you are Woodruff Lakes,
Yes.
and what is your name?
Patty Stoner?
Okay, so you're, all right, and what was your vote?
No.
Anyone else? Yeah, let me double check. I didn't call her on my computer, so it's fine. Okay. All right, is there anyone else that I missed or miscounted?
time of year, so appreciate you taking this. I think we did a great job tonight, but we're not as good at Charleston because apparently their business meetings only last 25 minutes. So I'm figuring out how they do a prayer pledge, have a speaker, and have your business in 25 minutes. Pardon?
Motion to adjourn.
That's how we
So, does anybody have any questions, anything you want to comment on before we vote on? Yes, sir? I'm sorry. Please, I'll tell them to get some
I'd
minutes.
just like to make an announcement, 9/11 is next month. I'm a retired New York City firefighter, and we do a memorial at the Landrum Firehouse every 9/11. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll confirm the date with the bond, but you're all welcome to attend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Libby McMillan, Greenville 3. I just had a quick question. Poll watcher, I've heard that can be a half-day shift, is that correct? As opposed to a poll worker?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's important to tell everybody, because poll worker is a really long day, but poll watcher can be half-day shift, we can all do that pretty easily.
It's the whole day.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's so important. We should probably fight for that because there was problems with the state elections commission. So they were the ones that were very interested in doing that. But anyway, I agree, this is not mentioning our outreach event, the most successful one we've ever had. So did we have one point B on that? I just want to congratulate you guys, because again, that was a lot of work, but the vendor who gave us the venue, they were wonderful to work with Thomas Creek, so I think we can definitely, do some things with them in the future. Thank you for all you guys that love tables, and to Libby, a shout out to Libby and her husband, they were the best thing
The exact tally was 58 yes, 16 no, and 2 abstentions.
Thank you.
Again, is there any new business? Okay, not.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.